of Management Studies, IGNOU presents an audiobook on the course Mmpc 017 Advanced Strategic Management for MBA program. Presenting Block 2 Corporate Level Growth Strategy, Unit 5 Strategic Alliances, Part 2.
Benefits of strategic alliances. In the new economy, strategic alliances enable businesses to gain competitive advantage through access to a partner's resources, including markets, technologies, capital, and people. Teaming up with others adds complementary resources and capabilities, enabling participants to grow and expand more quickly and efficiently. Strategic alliances also benefit companies by reducing manufacturing costs and developing and diffusing new technologies rapidly. Alliances are also used to accelerate product introduction and overcome legal and trade barriers expeditiously. In this era of rapid technological changes and global markets, forming alliances is often the fastest, most effective method of achieving growth objectives. However, companies must ensure that the objectives of the alliance are compatible and in tune with their existing businesses, so their expertise is transferable to the alliance. Many fast growth technology companies use strategic alliances to benefit from more established channels of distribution, marketing, or brand reputation of bigger, better known players. However, more traditional businesses tend to enter alliances for reasons such as geographic expansion, cost reduction, manufacturing, and other supply chain synergies. As global market opens up and competition grows, mid-sized companies need to be increasingly creative about how and with whom they align themselves to go to the market. Firms often enter into alliances based on opportunity rather than linkages with their overall goals. This risk is greatest when a company has a surplus of cash. In recent years, Mercedes-Benz and Toyota Motor Corporation have been investing surplus funds into seemingly unrelated businesses, with Benz already facing difficulties as a result. Especially fast-growing companies rely heavily on alliances to extend their technical and operational resources. In the process, they save time and boost productivity by not having to develop their own from scratch. They are thus freed to concentrate on innovation and their core business. Entering new markets. The Cooper and Lebrand study rates growth strategies and entering new markets among the top reasons for forming strategic alliances, Coopers and Lebrand 1997. As Ohme 1992 points out, companies simply do not have the time to establish new markets one by one. In today's fast-paced world economies, this is increasingly true. Therefore, forming an alliance with an existing company already in that marketplace is a very appealing alternative. Partnering with an international company can make the expansion into unfamiliar territory a lot easier and less stressful for a company. According to the Coopers and Lebrand 1997 study, 50% of firms involved in alliances market their goods and services internationally versus 30% of non-allied participants. For instance, Tata Motors has shortlisted Brilliance Automotive Holdings of China to set up a joint venture for producing cars. Tata Motors, which acquired the commercial truck facility of Daewoo Motors in South Korea for Rs 465 crore, is also reported to be scouting for another joint venture in northern China in order to have a full-fledged presence in China. Often a company that has a successful product or service has a desire to introduce it into a new market. Yet perhaps the company recognizes that it lacks the necessary marketing expertise because it does not fully understand customer needs, does not know how to promote the product or service effectively, or does not understand or have access to the proper distribution channels. Rather than painstakingly trying to develop this expertise internally, the company may identify another organization that possesses those desired marketing skills. Then, by capitalizing on the product development skills of one company and the marketing skills of the other, the resulting alliance can serve the market quickly and effectively. Alliances may be particularly helpful when entering a foreign market for the first time because of the extensive cultural differences that may abound. They may also be effective domestically when entering regional or ethnic markets. Asian Paints, the largest paint maker in India, acquired a strategic stake in the Singapore based Berger International in 2002. Asian Paints now appears to be trying to gain control over the Berger brand in some key regional markets like Pakistan. Berger International, which is now a subsidiary of Asian Paints, has entered into a strategic alliance with Karachi based Berger Paints Pakistan, which is owned by the Mahmood family. Berger International will provide technical consultancy and strategic advice to Berger Pakistan, which is the second largest paints company in Pakistan. Berger Pakistan will also have the right to import products from Asian Paints. Reducing manufacturing costs. Strategic alliances may allow companies to pool capital or existing facilities to gain economies of scale or increase the use of facilities, thereby reducing manufacturing costs. In the increasingly competitive European automobile market, when the Japanese are seeking to gain market share as they did in the US during the 1980s, many European companies have formed joint ventures to reduce manufacturing costs. Ford and Volkswagen are jointly planning to make four-wheel drive vehicles in Portugal, and Nissan and Ford intend to build a plant in Spain to produce vans. These companies will benefit from cost sharing and will reduce expenses by building and operating facilities in relatively low cost countries, at least by West European standards. Companies may also reduce costs through strategic alliances with suppliers or customers reaching agreements to supply products or services for longer periods and working together meet customers' needs. Each partner may apply its expertise and benefits may be shared in the form of lower costs or new products. Developing and diffusing technology. Alliances may also be used to build jointly on the technical expertise of two or more companies in developing products technologically beyond the capability of the companies acting independently. Not all companies can provide the technology that they need to effectively compete in their markets on their own. Therefore, they are teaming up with other companies who do not have the resources to provide the technology or who can pool their resources so that together they can provide the needed technology. Both sides receive benefits from the partnership. Technology transfer is not only viewed as being significant to the success of a strategic alliance, according to Xi 1997. Host countries now demand more in the way of technology transfer. As evidence of this growing trend, Xi cites China as a prime example. For example, Tata Consultancy Services (TCS) and ANSYS Inc., a global innovator of simulation software and product development technology, have entered into an alliance that will help their clients accelerate product development dramatically and simultaneously enhance the quality and reliability of their design through integrated digital prototyping. The industries that will benefit include automotive, power, heavy machinery, consumer products, and electronics. Customers will derive increased productivity in the design and production processes by 70 to 90%. By pooling resources to develop software products built upon the expertise of each company, TCS and ANSYS Inc. intend to create a new market and reap the associated benefits. Reduce financial risk and share cost of research and development. Some companies may find that the financial risk that is involved in pursuing a new product or production method is too great for a single company to undertake. In such cases, two or more companies come together and agree to spread the risk among all of them. One example of this is found in strategic alliance between the Rs 235 crore Elder Pharma, which has 25 international partners for strategic alliances, has entered into a tie-up with Reliance Life Sciences. The company is focusing on dermatology, and the tie-up with Reliance is to obtain aloe vera extracts for cosmetics. Elder has launched a dedicated skincare division with products under L. Dermis brand and plans to launch a number of over-the-counter products in the skincare segment. Achieve or ensure competitive advantage. Alliances are particularly alluring to small businesses because they provide the tools businesses needs to be competitive. For many small companies, the only way they can stay competitive and even survive in today's technologically advanced, ever-changing business worlds is to form an alliance with another company. Small companies can realize the mutual benefits they can derive from strategic alliances in areas such as marketing, distribution, production, research and development, and outsourcing. By forming alliances with other companies, small businesses are able to accomplish bigger projects more quickly and profitably than if they try to do it on their own. According to Booz, Allen and Hamilton, the world has entered a new age, an age of collaboration, and that only through allying can companies obtain the capabilities and resources necessary to win in the changing global marketplace. Self reliance is an option few companies will be able to afford. Booz Allen and Hamilton 1997. Cost and risks of strategic alliances. Any firm opting for strategic alliance incurs certain costs as well as gains benefits compared to a firm that goes on its own. Strategic alliances have their risks, particularly if the parties are not financial equals. These risks include the loss of operational control and confidentiality of proprietary information and technology. Some alliances can involve a clash of corporate cultures or the perceived diminution of independence. In addition, the parties may deprive themselves of future business opportunities with competitors of their strategic partners. The parties must carefully consider a number of factors in the decision of whether to enter into a strategic alliance and how best to govern the relationship once the alliance is formed. In addition to the parties' business objectives, the parties should consider a variety of accounting, tax, antitrust, and intellectual property issues when structuring a strategic alliance. A properly structured strategic alliance can bring many new opportunities and enhance the parties' growth potential. In addition, it can provide an alternative source of capital during difficult economic times. The various costs, risks of entering into alliances include cultural and language barriers. Cultural clash is probably one of the biggest problems that corporations and alliances face today. These cultural problems consist of languages, egos, chauvinism, and different attitudes to business can all make the going rough. The first thing that can cause problems is the language barrier that they might face. It is important for the companies that are working together to be able to communicate and understand each other well, or they are doomed before they even start. The importance of communication becomes even more paramount when operating across the participants to a strategic alliance. Language barriers at times can be a source for delays and frustrations. However, English is becoming a common international language. Communication problems may also arise because job definitions are much more specific in Western companies than in Asian companies. Cultural differences often create problems in making strategic alliances work, especially between Asian and Western companies. For example, Japanese companies put employee interests ahead of the shareholders' interests. Western companies, on the other hand, are managed to benefit their shareholders. Such a difference can cause serious conflict over investment and dividend policies. The decision process in Asian companies often takes longer as compared to those in their Western counterparts. Patience rather than pushing for a decision becomes a helpful strategy. Not only do the cultural differences exist among international firms seeking alliances, but also corporate cultures may be different among firms from the same country. In the final analysis, flexibility and management learning are the greatest tools in overcoming this barrier. Lack of trust. Risk sharing is the primary bonding tool in a partnership. A sense of commitment must be generated throughout the partnership. In many alliance cases, one company will point the failure finger at the partnering company. Shifting the blame does not solve the problem, but increases the tension between the partnering companies and often leads to alliance ruin. Building trust is the most important and yet most difficult aspect of a successful alliance. Only people can trust each other, not the company. Therefore, alliance needs to be formed to enhance trust between individuals. The companies must form the three forms of trust, which includes responsibility, equality, and reliability. Many alliances have failed due to the lack of trust causing unsolved problems, lack of understanding, and despondent relationships. Loss of autonomy. The firm gets committed not only to a goal of its own but that of its alliance partner. This involves cost in terms of goal displacement. The firm also loses the autonomy and hence its ability to unilaterally control the outcomes. All the partners in an alliance have control over the performance of the assigned tasks. No partner hence can unilaterally control the outcome of an alliance activity. Similarly, all the partners in an alliance have to spend on each other. As against these, the firm benefits in terms of gain of influence over domain and improvement in competitive positioning. This is because the firm's strengths are supplemented by the strengths of its alliance partner as well as by the synergy additionally created. This improves the value chain of the firm. The firm may also use its improved competitive position to penetrate new markets in the same country. The increase in capacities may also support the firm's presence in new markets. The firm may also gain access to the foreign markets by choosing an alliance partner based in or having operations in such countries. The firm may not be able to use its own time-tested technology if the alliance partner does not subscribe to it. It may have to use the dominant partner's technology, which could be different, or the combination of its own technology and its partners. This is likely to have its impact on the stability of the firm as it gets exposed to the uncertainty of using unfamiliar technology. On the other hand, the firm develops its ability to manage uncertainty under real or perceived protective supports of its experienced alliance partner. This helps the firm solve invisible and complex problems with the help of increased confidence and or support from the alliance partner. The firm may be able to specialize in its field if its alliance partner contributes to fill the missing gaps in the value chain of the firm. The firm may also diversify into other unrelated fields with the support of its alliance partner. Thus, the firm will be in a better position to ward off its competitors who are likely to get immobilized at least for the time being as they would have to revise their strategies keeping in view the changed competitive positioning of the firm. This situation could be used by the firm to push its advantage further. Lack of clear goals and objectives. Many strategic alliances are formed for the wrong reasons. This will surely lead to disaster in the future. Many companies enter into alliances to combat industry competitors. Corporate management feels this type of action will deter competitors from focusing on their company. On the contrary, this action will raise flags that problems exist within the joining companies. The alliance may put the companies in the spotlight, causing more competition. Alliances are also formed to correct internal company problems. Once again, management feels that an increase in numbers signifies a quick fix. In this case, the company is probably already doomed and is just taking another along for the ride. Many strategic alliances, although entered into for all the right reasons, do not work. Dissimilar objectives, inability to share risks, and lack of trust lead to an early alliance demise. Cooperation on all issues is the key to a successful alliance. Many managers enter into an alliance without properly researching the steps necessary to ensure the basic principles of cooperation. Lack of coordination between management teams. Action taken by subordinates that are not congruent with top-level management can prove particularly disruptive, especially in instances where companies remain competitors in spite of their strategic alliance. If it were to happen that one company would go off on its own and do its own marketing and sell its own product, while in alliance with another company, it would for sure be grounds for the two to break up, and they would most likely end up in a legal battle which could take years to solve if it were settled at all. Differences in management styles. Failure to understand and adapt to new style of management is a barrier to success in an alliance. Changes are required in management style to run successful alliances. The adaptation of a new style of management requires a change in corporate culture, which must be initiated and nurtured from the top. Companies needs to devote more resources to understanding the alliance management process from contract negotiations to establishing effective communications. They need to develop managers with a new set of competencies, including foreign language and other communicating and team building skills. Other problems that can occur between companies in trade alliances are different attitudes among the companies. One company may deliver its goods or service behind schedule or do a bad job producing their goods or service, which may lead to distrust between the two companies. This could upset the partner and may sometimes leads to a takeover. Lack of commitment. The possibility that partner firms lack ironclad commitment to the alliance could undermine the prospects of an alliance. Partner firms tend to be interested more in pursuing their self interest than the common interest of the alliance. Such opportunistic behavior includes shirking, appropriating the partner's resources, distorting information, harboring hidden agendas, and delivering unsatisfactory products and services. Because these activities seriously jeopardize the viability of an alliance, lack of commitment to the alliance is an important component of the overall risk in strategic alliance. The commitment also gets diluted because the individuals who negotiated or implemented the initial alliance agreement may have changed due to promotions, transfers, retirement, or terminations. Continuity of total commitment for the alliance is needed at all levels in the organization, without which the alliance will fail to reach its full potential. There is a probability that an alliance may fail even when partner firms commit themselves fully to the alliance. The sources of such a risk includes environmental factors such as government policy changes, war, and economic recession, market factors such as fierce competition and demand fluctuations, and internal factors such as a lack of competence in critical areas or sheer bad luck. Creating a potential competitor. One partner, for example, might be using the alliance to test a market and prepare the launch of a wholly owned subsidiary. By declining to cooperate with others in the area of its core competency, a company can reduce the likelihood of creating a competitor that would threaten its main area of business. Likewise, a company can insist on contractual clauses that can constrain partners from competing against it in certain products or geographic regions. Problems of coordination and loss of agility. Alliance firms, however, are likely to suffer from delays in solutions due to problems of coordination, and an alert competitor may exploit this weakness inbuilt in any alliance to its great advantage. The competitor could use a combination of strategies which exploit the weakness of all the alliance partners, timing it in such a way that the weakness of one alliance partner is exploited quickly before another alliance partner comes to its rescue to defend the alliance. This is how a competitor may induce the synergy to work in reverse in such strategic alliances. This would improve the competitor's competitive position manifold. On the other hand, the firm under strategic alliance may benefit from the rapidity of the response to the changing market demands when its new alliance partner readily supplies technologies. The delay in the use of new technology is reduced, which benefits the firm in creating a competitive edge over its competitors. Potential for conflicts. The understanding reached among the alliance partners is crystallized into an agreement of alliance. However, no agreement can capture all the details of an understanding. The complexity increases when a situation arises which is unforeseen or not provided for in the agreement. These may create conflict over goals, domain, and methods to be followed in the alliance activity among the alliance partners and might result in setbacks to the alliance. On the other hand, the group synergy may be beneficial to the alliance partners in such a way that they support each other mutually and amicably resolve whatever differences may arise. This leads to a harmonious working relationships intra and inter-alliance firms, which in turn further increases the synergic benefits and the cycle goes on. The competitor deprived of the benefits of group synergy would lose his competitiveness and in turn cohesiveness and harmony, and the cycle goes on. Difficulty in managing alliances. Strategic alliance is a relatively new concept in management. It is also more difficult to manage and hence may lead to failure of strategic alliances formed even by excellent firms. A failure would mean loss of time, money, material, information, reputation, status, technological superiority, competitive position, and financial position. The benefits of success are in the terms of gain of resources like time, money, information, and raw material. The firm also gains legitimacy and status and benefits through utilization of unused plant capacity. Above all, the firm has opportunities to learn, to adapt, develop competencies, or jointly develop new products as well as share the cost of product development and associated risk. Other issues. Experience is the better teacher in alliances, but it comes at a very heavy cost. This blunts the inquisitiveness of any firm to learn through the failure of an experiment. Strategic alliance provides some security to an inexperienced firm that even if the experiment goes haywire, it can look forward to a rescue by the other experienced alliance partner. When the assigned tasks are to be carried out by the firm's partner in alliance, the firm still benefits by the firm being a witness to the process of implementation of such tasks. Perhaps the most important benefit strategic alliance offers to a firm is the opportunities to learn. Often, a firm aiming to expand its operations abroad benefits by going in for an alliance as it helps gain acceptance from the government of the foreign country. This is so because the government of the foreign country may desire involvement and development of the local firms. On the other hand, the firm may suffer restrictions from governmental regulations if the government feels that such strategic alliances would be detrimental to furtherance of the public interest. However, it would still be desirable to have strategic alliance with a foreign firm because it would be knowledgeable about the complexity of the local conditions as well as be more sensitive to the changing environmental conditions, and so it may raise timely alarm for the firm to respond appropriately. Other reasons for underperformance and failure of strategic alliances include a breakdown in trust, a change in strategy, the champions moved on, the value did not materialize, the cultures did not mesh, and the systems were not integrated. Another main reason strategic alliances fail to meet expectations is the failure to grasp and articulate their strategic intent, which includes the failure to investigate alternatives to an alliance. Lack of recognition of the close interplay between the overall strategy of the company and the role of an alliance in that strategy can also lead to failure of alliance.
You were listening to the audiobook by the School of Management Studies IGNOU for MBA program. Course code Mmpc 016 International Business Management. Course Coordinator Professor G. Subayama. Voiceover by Chitra. Edited by Ashok Sharma. Program assisted by Tarannum Jahan and Jagbandhu Jana. Program produced by Dr. Manoj Kumar Singh. This program was brought to you by Electronic Media Production Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University.